The house on Hollow Graveyard, cleansed by fire and faith. In the quiet town of Coldwater, Ohio, there stands a house that was once feared by all. Built on a forgotten cemetery where criminals, paupers, and plague victims had been thrown into shallow graves, the home became a prison of the dead. From the first day, the family who built it suffered. Doors locked by themselves, shadows whispered at night. The walls shook as though the house itself was alive. The spirits were restless. The children were dragged from their beds. The cellar revealed dozens of rotting coffins, broken open, claw marks inside as if the dead had tried to escape. Priests who attempted blessings were nearly killed. One snapped like a rag doll against the wall. Another fled screaming, his mind shattered. The family disappeared without a trace, their names carved into fresh graves in the cellar. The house stood abandoned for years, a black silhouette against the moon, feared by all who passed. Whispers said the dead still prowled its halls, dragging any intruder down into the soil. But then, Father Gabriel arrived, the grand exorcist known across states for facing horrors that broke other men, came to Coldwater when he heard the tale. An old man now, scarred from decades of battling evil, he stepped into the house with nothing but his Bible, holy water, and a crucifix. The moment he entered, the walls groaned like a beast awakening. The air stank of rot, and voices shrieked from the cellar. Black shadows crawled along the walls, taking the form of the dead, their eyes hollow, their mouths stretched in screams. The floor shook so violently, dust rained from the rafters. But Gabriel stood firm. He began to pray. His voice echoed like thunder through the house, drowning out the shrieks. The spirits fought back. Doors slammed, glass shattered, the cellar burst open with a roar of wind and dust. Hands clawed from the dirt, skeletal and writhing, reaching for him. One figure rose from the grave, its jaw hanging loose, its eyes burning red. Still, Gabriel did not falter. He thrust the crucifix high, his voice rising above the chaos. "By the blood of Christ, I command you to depart." The house screamed. Yes, the house itself. Every window shattered, every door burst open. Fire erupted in the fireplace, though no match was lit. The ground shook as though the graves themselves were tearing open. Mary's old laughter, the laughter of the countless restless dead, filled the air. But Gabriel pressed on. Hours passed in battle. Shadows clawed his body, leaving bleeding wounds across his chest. Voices mocked him, promising to drag him into the pit. Yet his faith did not break. Finally, with his last strength, he poured holy water across the cellar floor and raised the crucifix high. A blinding light filled the house. The screams grew deafening, then fell silent. The shadows burned away like ash in the wind. The stench lifted. The house went still. When the sun rose, the house was no longer cursed. The heavy air was gone. The walls no longer bled. Where once the cellar was a pit of graves, there was now nothing but clean earth, blessed and calm. The curse had ended. Years later, a new wealthy family purchased the house. To everyone's shock, they lived in peace. Laughter replaced screams. Warm light filled the windows where shadows once lingered. Guests who visited said the house felt calm, even holy, as if the air itself was lighter. Cold water finally breathed again, and though whispers remain of what once happened there, the town remembers one thing. Father Gabriel's faith had turned a pit of death into a sanctuary of life. The house that was once feared as a prison of souls now stood as proof that even the darkest curses can be broken.